Alright, greetings and welcome back. We made to floor 7 with these 4 heroes now. And we're going to see how much fire I can push on. Much like before, we'll open the doors to max here to start off with. And I think at this point with 300 industry and 300 science, let's focus on food right from the get-go this time around. Goldie will operate on this for now. We'll have Max go over here next. And let's build another food right here. We'll go into this door next. Self-powered, very nice. Let's build an industry at this point. I'll kill everything in this room. And then finally, let's move him through this door perhaps as well. Alright, so there's our pistol weapon. So, I want to note, by the way, that some weapons are just junk weapons regardless of what tier they are. This is a blue tier piece here, but as you can see from, the negative DPS and attack power, it'll basically reduce the amount of damage Max does overall compared to the Blastoper. So essentially, I'm not going to use the piece here just because the Blastoper is so much better than it, even at its lower tier than this one. And I think over here, let's build a food replicator. And why not? Let's open a few more doors of Max before I basically send an operator on a module for us. Open up this one. And let's build one more food right here. Alright, these guys I'm all going to send over here. And let's just build an assortment of stuff in here. We'll build a couple smoking guns. A couple Tesla modules. And I think at this point, let's build a Tear Gas 1. So, this is something to know about this game. You don't have to stick to one module in a room. You can basically build a variety of whatever you want in a room. And this is important because some modules, they work really well if you build in a mass. But others, they work better if you only leave one of their type in a room. In the case of the Tear Gas, for example, it's probably a better weapon to put in a room if you have a whole lot of high damage weapons. But it's also good if you build them in mass if there's a whole lot of weak monsters that they can kill all at once. Essentially depends what type of enemies you're fighting too, what you basically build for your defenses. Alright, at this point let's send Nanner up to this door here. I'll see what's behind the door. Alright, now I want to note, by the way, you can probably not really tell, but this big flyer here, he is actually an elite version of the old flyers you basically saw. And what makes him a little bit different than the old one is that he'll actually attack your research artifacts when you find them. So you want to be very careful of these when they basically get to elite because they'll go after research artifacts. And let's move Nair back over here. And we'll be done with that guy. There's a merchant. He's also attackable, by the way, but I have to be very careful of that. But at the same time, what I'm going to do with him, I'm going to move Gork up here for now, while building a few modules up in this direction. And what do you have, by the way? I know I'm going to sell this right away. Alright, so of these weapons, there's actually a few good ones in here, a few items in here that's actually really worth noting. I want to note that if you find a hipster scarf in the store, this is actually one of the few items that's really worth buying, perhaps, if you have a really strong hero in your party like Gork here. essentially what the hipster scarf will do, it'll basically give you this skill called Me First. And essentially what this does is, when you have a Me First item, it'll essentially cause all monsters to target Gork before they target anyone else in the room. So basically, if Gork is in this room, if a monster comes in the room, it won't target Max, it won't target the module, it won't target the defenses, it will target Gork. So let's just do that. We'll move him here. And now I can be sure that if anything attacks in this room, it's going to attack Gork and Gork alone. And that's good because Gork has HP, as opposed to, say, Max, who doesn't, or Nanner, who has, less. It can also be very good for Golgi if I eventually have Golgi, get attacked. I'll probably know at this point I should probably level up Golgi a little bit. Once Golgi gets up to 7, she gets this skill called Crawler, by the way. So I want to note that this ability here, Me First, and War Cry, they basically cause monsters to target Gork and Gork alone. Skills like a Crawler here, or Skulking, which basically is what this skill is all about. This essentially is like the reverse of that. It basically causes monsters to ignore Golgi. So if Golgi's in a room with Max here, and monsters are going to target heroes, they'll always target Max before they target Golgi. So it's a good way to keep her alive if you use this ability, for example. Alright, I'll note that with this HR Man, we're going to put this on Chef Nanner here. Now, of the weapons in here, it's worth noting just a quick draw. And this is a really good weapon to use. And as you can see, it actually does more DPS than the Blastoper. It's also a purple tier, which is basically the highest tier type of weapon that quick draw can be. So I'm going to put this on Max over here. And that'll actually boost up his damage by quite a bit. I'll still have to deal with Blastoper. Now, on Nopo, I've got very little food at this point, which is bad because if these guys start getting hurt, I don't have a whole lot of food to heal them up. Basically, if Max was to get hurt, I can only heal up 6 times before running out of food. But I want to note that I have lots of food basically being generated each turn. So that's going to help a little bit. We're going to move Gork back to the merchant room over here. And I'm going to move Nair to basically explore some more over here. Now, note by the way that the reason I'm moving Gork up there is to keep stuff from spawning in that room with the merchant. If stuff spawns in that room with the merchant, it's possible they might attack the merchant. Those bugs, for example, I do believe they will attack the merchant at the elite tier. So I know we'll just power that room up now, because I know how to dust for it. And we'll build one fire module up here. Let's build an industry module. So I'll note with the room count, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rooms opened. And I managed to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 modules already. So once you've placed 8 major modules, I'm going to say this quite blatantly to you. Do not build anymore. It's possible that, you may, be able to get more resources if you were to build more. But it probably makes sense at this point. They really should be considering other modules, like the land module, for example. And I'll actually show something off about the land module when I get a chance to build it, just so you can see what it does. Okay, so here's a stele that basically says, cannot operate for your heroes. This is a very bad stele. And if you're going to know something, you'll notice that Max here, he's not operating on his food module anymore. And same with Golgi. When you see a cannot operate module like this, a stele like this, it basically means you cannot operate on modules. So, at this point, Max and Gork are just basically, grunts in that room. As a result, Max is now going to be going back to open doors for us a little bit more. And I'll bring Golgi down here too to basically, operate on this module when this goes away. But also so that Max can be used to explore a little bit more. So open up this. There's a toxic cloud in there. Now, I'll note by the way, if you see a toxic cloud in a room like this, that's away from your other rooms, you want to be very careful with it because you essentially have to pass through that room to get back to this area if you want to make use of it. So I'm going to go down here instead, open up this door. And then we'll defend in here, after everything basically comes over to kill me. You notice, by the way, that both these guys can repair, so they'll basically get to repairing when they get a chance to do so. Now, I've got a lot of dust here, and I got this toxic cloud. Now it's probably a good time to go to maybe one of these other areas to open doors. So I'll send Nana over here, and I'll send Max over here. We'll leave Golgi and Gork over here to defend. Let's have Max open this door up. There's a research artifact. As well as more monsters spawning on us. Okay. It's a little bit hard to see. But these blue crystal type of guys, these guys are your anti-major module guys. These guys will attack only major modules or your crystal. So this is like your first incarnation where you basically have to fear monsters that will go directly after modules. Because these guys will destroy them if they get a chance. I'll note by the way that both Max and Nair basically can make it back here in time, so another good example where these guys are so far away that they can basically be of help when defending this stuff. Also note by the way that Golgi's starting to operate again. So this stele is gone and now my heroes can operate and stuff again. I think we're going to use Max over here then, as a result. So I can get my operations back online for him. And we'll go back to using Nair to open doors for now. Right after I look at the stuff here. Let's get the Neurostun module free, I guess, next. And that's actually something worth noting, by the way. You notice this is jumping right from level 1 to free. Sometimes when researching stuff, you'll basically jump 2 levels instead of 1 as an option. So in this case, we're able to skip level 2 Neurostun module to go straight to free. So that'll be very nice to have. And I think before I push on over here, let's build a few crystal prod slots. And we'll push on with these defenses being here as a backdrop just in case. I don't need a whole lot of defenses here, but those are just to help out just in case. Alright, this guy here, this bulldozer, he'll actually attack like artifacts if they're being used to research. So for example, you'll basically see that in a moment. Where he's basically attacking it. You want to be very careful of those guys. Because if they see like a research artifact out in the open, they will start attacking it. And that includes both like out in unlit portion of the dungeon. If for example you have an unpowered room with an artifact using your research, and a bulldozer comes into it, they will start attacking that artifact on you. So it's bad. Keep your research artifacts protected, basically. Okay, let's go down here. An EMP hit. Uh-oh. Alright, so here's a good example where the EMP can be very, very bad. So, as a result of that EMP, Golgi, Gork, and Nana, who are now going to be over here, this room is completely unpowered, and as a result, it can take a lot more damage to stuff. Basically, this is now a weak point in my defense line. And I think at this point we'll build a land module up on this spot here. So I want to note something about the major modules, by the way. Anytime you build a major module, it'll basically boost up the remaining cost for everything else. But there's something special about these like creator modules over here. So note that the shop takes 25 industry to basically build, and the land module takes 35, and all this takes 60. If I build like a land module here, you'll notice that this still costs 25 and this still costs 35, but this costs 65, 65, 65. So it's worth knowing that every time you build a major module, it basically boosts up the remaining cost of these by 5, but it'll never boost up the cost of your land modules or your shops or anything else that are basically above these 3 here. Now note by building this, it'll basically increase the defense of all my major modules and minor modules. So when I basically get attacked over here, this stuff is going to take a lot less damage as a result. That's important later on. Alright, there's still a toxic cloud over here. So I think we're going to send Nana over to this area with Max. And I'm going to use a bunch of Tesla modules here. Now, note by the way that I'm building this Tesla module in this room because I know there's just lots of like anti-module monsters, like those big crystal guys. These will basically help go after those guys and those guys alone, because these are anti-module monster weapons, as opposed to smoking guns, which won't. There's another cryo capsule. Let's see what I get this time. Alright, so there's some food for my troubles. So that's one of the options that you can sometimes get from these options when you basically open them up. I'll move over here and I'll get a little bit more research going on. Now, I should probably note something, by the way, but these EMPs, they basically knock out your power for about 3 turns usually. So I gotta basically open up a couple more doors before these come back online. Depending on the situation, it can sometimes be beneficial to open up 2 doors at once, if you have like that sort of situation going on, because you can sometimes bring your defenses back online real quick that way. So for example, if I open up this door, you'll note that this room is now back online, so this can be used to defend again. If that hadn't powered up on that door there, I could have opened up this door after that, and that would have for sure powered up this room again, so I could make use of the defenses in here to basically protect myself. Sometimes that can be important if like you have like, you know, an important defensive line that's been powered down. They get back powered up again. And let's move down here. And we're under attack on both flanks here, so this is a good time maybe to use cooking with gas from Nanor. That'll basically damage everything that I basically see, and possibly get me more dust when stuff gets killed. Alright, so that's all repaired. I can now basically power up both these rooms up here as a result, and we can just go a little bit further. Looks like some more guys are coming to attack me over here. So, I'll note by the way, you'll notice that Goldie's taking very little damage, while Gork here is taking a lot of damage. This is a result of that me first ability I basically put on him, the Hipster Scarf. So, monsters are basically only going after Gork up here instead of Golgi. Though, you'll notice that Golgi is taking some damage. This is just because of AoE damage that's basically being affected on her. So, if there's AoE monster properties basically happening, they'll basically hit everything in the room, including heroes that are basically got skulking on them like this. Or are just basically not being targeted. Let's open up the door up here next. Alright, so that's basically it for the rooms up here. Alright, so here's another hero to hire. This is Mizzy. And I'll note that Mizzy is much like Jalaria in a way. Mizzy's sort of like a hero that you possibly don't want to recruit, because she's a little bit weak in an aspect, but strong in other aspects. And essentially what's wrong with Mizzy compared to other heroes is that she's really, really weak early on. Like, when she's basically pre-level 8, she's like not as powerful as other heroes. But once you level up to like, you know, 9 or even higher, she gets really, really powerful. That's when she gets to be really good. But there's another hero I could recruit. I'm actually not going to dismiss a hero for it, but, you know, if you wanted to and you want to try and recruit more heroes, you know, you could do that if you want to. But I don't recommend, you know, dismissing heroes unless you really, really, really want to get a hero. Or if you can afford to lose the game. Or if you don't care if you lose the game. Basically, I got like a good set of heroes that are all level 7 right now, and Mizzy's level 4. I could dismiss one of these heroes for her, but I feel it's not probably worth it, so we're not going to do it. Let's go do some more research, I guess. And I guess we'll go for the land module free. Now, note by the way that the toxic cloud that was over here is finally gone. And as a result, I'll send Nana over here to do more exploration. We'll run back over here now. Alright, so I'll note that this symbol you're seeing right here. This indicates that a hero's under attack in another room, an NPC, that you can't see. So, Mizzy's actually under attack right now. And she'll probably get killed, but, you know, it's unfortunate, but oh well. I wasn't going to recruit her anyways. So, too bad for you, Mizzy. Let's power up this room over here, I guess. And let's kill everything that, you know, basically comes at us now. Now, I'm not sure if you heard that sound, but when you basically hear that sound, it basically means that hero's like gone critical. Much like that when we're basically in the first level and Gork went to the red. Mizzy is essentially a critical damage at this point, so she's probably going to die soon after you basically hear that sound. And there she goes. So Mizzy's been killed. And there's what killed her. Max should be able to kill this stuff easily enough. And that's out of the way. Let's send Narada over here now. And you know, this is probably a good point to level up my heroes a little bit more. So let's go over to Golgi here. At level 8, she gets something called Nyctophilia. And it basically gives heroes in a room with her a speed bonus in like umpire rooms, as well as increased dust loop probability. It's a good skill for her. Now I want to note by the way that as you level up your heroes, once you get up to like, you know, these like level 7, level 8 levels, that's where you basically are spending like 100 food to basically level these guys up. So it gets a lot more costly to level your guys up as they get higher in levels. Let's level up Max up to level 9 here. That'll give him his special ability, Run Away. And yes, there's an ability called Run Away, which basically increases your speed. And it's actually not a bad skill for Max to have, because it basically lets him move out and about very, very easily when you need him to. By the way, something else that you can notice for ease of use. If you double click on an enemy, on like heroes, you can actually move to where they are. You can also use hotkeys by the way as well. So if I press like 2 twice, I'll actually jump to where Gork is, and if I press 1 twice, I'll jump to where Max is. Hotkeys and double clicking. Let's open up that. There's another hero I could basically get. There's Rosetta. Now, Rosetta is, how can I put this? Rosetta is basically another hero that I can recruit. Unlike the other heroes, she's like a DLC hero. So, I'm not sure if you're going to be seeing her in your vanilla game. But she's essentially probably something you can easily get if you have the DLC for it. From the start of the game. Without having to basically unlock her. Basically, she's like the TF2 heroes. Alright, nothing spawned. Now, I'll note by the way, if I was to build like something in this module slot, this would actually attract those like crystal enemies to basically attack this stuff here. So for example, if I built like a shop or a land module here, the crystal enemies would actually start coming here if they are like a bit closer to it. So if like they spawned here or here, they might come to here instead of going over to my guys over here. You know, let's actually just do that so I can show you that off. I'll build a shop here. And I'll build 3 Tesla modules in here. Now, note that when I built the shop here, I actually moved a merchant. That's something to note about the shop. It basically will move merchants that are active in the dungeon to that location. And I didn't actually mean to do that, but I'm actually not using this merchant anyway, so it's fine. Okay, let's get the research done and I'll move over to that merchant. Alright, so of this stuff, let's go for a tactical HUD. This is sort of like the land module. It's basically a support module you can basically put down. Now, note by the way, because I actually moved to Merchant, not only are monsters that attack the monsters going to come here, monsters that attack the Merchant are going to come here as well. So we'll possibly see that in a bit. That's basically like a decoy area, more or less, is what that is now. Cool, I found the exit. We can get out of here when we need to. There's a research artifact. So, oh, I know, by the way, this research artifact, I could use that to do research, but because this level has those, like, crystal enemies, if I still use the research, enemies, those crystal enemies will start targeting it. So, you want to be very careful of that. And let's see here. Is anyone going to attack Rosetta? Alright, so there's like an example of Rosetta under attack. And there's the bulldozer enemies coming after the shop. As you see, my Tesla modules did quick work on them. And Max over here is taking a little bit of a beating, but let's give him this. And this blocks to make sure he doesn't get killed. Alright, so we're good here. And it looks like Rosetta's about to kill, but oh well. And there goes Rosetta. And the monster is killing her. I should actually note, by the way, you should actually go to locations where those NPCs are after fights are done. Sometimes dust will drop on those places because the monsters will be killed there, and you know there's a chance that dust will drop from them. So let's go over to where Missy died. There's no dust here. And we'll go to where Rosetta died, and we'll see if there's any dust there. Alright, well, there's no dust, but there's sometimes a possibility that dust will drop in these places. Alright, so the only doors left are down here. I think we'll just build some prisoner prods and we'll send Nair down to look at them. The doors. Alright, so there's another hero. There's Sasha. She's another DLC hero. By the way, it's worth knowing that, much like your other heroes, the NPC heroes that you can recruit also pop up on the dungeon map. So there's her icon. And that would have been the same for Rosetta and for Missy if they'd been kept alive. Alright, of this stuff here, let's go after the dust fuel generator. Let's go down here a little bit. There's a powered room. Now, note because Nair's fairly close to Max here, I'll send him up here to help out Max. Now let's just cook him with gas, as well as his Last Supper ability. And there we go. Now, note by the way that the shop here got destroyed from those bulldozers attacking it. And I'm not sure if you can tell, but there's actually a little bit of dust in this room. That little bit of, you know, circles from the dust popping up. So go get Nair to go fetch that. I'll note that because like the bulldozers destroyed the shop here, this merchant basically still stays in the area that he was in. But if I wanted to, I could build a shop elsewhere and he would actually move from that spot. So, for example, if I build a shop down here, the merchant will now move over here. Alright, there's some science. And more guys attacking us. Looks like some mobs are still going after those Tesla modules in there, but whatever. Now, it's worth knowing, you want to be very careful with Me First abilities. As you saw there, Gork was taking a bit of a beating. If you're not careful, eventually, enemies will eventually take down the guys with the Me First on them. So you want to be very careful that you have it on your strong heroes only. If Gork gets killed, basically they'll go after, you know, everything else in the room. And Gork will be killed, of course, so it's a bad thing all around. And to help him out, let's give him a couple more levels. Now, I'll note by the way that you'll probably see this 2 here. Psycho Killer 2. Eventually, your heroes will get the maximum amount of skills they can have. And after that point, it is basically level up their current skills a little bit more. So this is basically improved Psycho Killer skill. And basically he'll do more damage and get more speed when he basically uses Psycho Killer now. One moment. I'm beginning to lose my voice a little bit now. Doing a little bit too much talking for these Let's Plays, or Let's Learns rather. What's behind the door? Alright, that's it for this dungeon. Let's just get out of here. Good time to use Psycho Killer, I think. As well as Me First. So, I'll note that his skill here, War Cry, not only does it make stuff attack him more, it also gives him a defense bonus, which is going to be very good here. Basically, it'll let him survive a lot more hits. And there we go. That's basically it for this floor of the dungeon. Let's power down the needless rooms. And I'll move Gork, Nanner, and Goldie over to the exit, while Max will basically create a crystal again for us. And I'm just going to do one last check of the merchant here to see if there's anything else I want. And I'll say, probably not, so let's just move on. And out of this level we go. Well, there goes this one. But we're out of here. So that was floor 7. Not too bad. We'll see if floor 8 will be that much fun. Alright, since I'm losing my voice, I think it's a good time maybe to stop this recording. And I'll see you guys when my voice, returns to normal. For now, take care.